Guess who woke up at exactly 3 a.m. and has not had a drop of sleep since, because I was busy spamming Nikki with memes and videos.
I woke up to, I think, 5 memes.
The amount of like videos and memes I had to hold myself back from sending.
I have days
feel
like
they
those.
were like, yeah, true. We do have days where we like exchange.
That's all the
Moments
conversations
or
we
spam.
have, honestly. We don't have proper conversations. It's just like meme and then ha 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 ha. Can you imagine? And then we make scenarios up based on that meme and then more memes.
Exactly. I was holding myself back because I didn't want you to think that I was going out of my mind because I was sending it at like dawn.
To be fair, an hour before you woke up was when I went to sleep. So it's a fair exchange, I think. Oh my god. Welcome to Creepy Conversations. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Kalai. And by the way, I forgot to I was supposed to talk to you about this. I got a part-time job. And I don't want to say that I work for cult leaders. Because some of them aren't. Yeah, some of them aren't cult leaders. Like my boss. I feel like my boss's intention is to like really help people. But some of them are just... Let's just call them motivational speakers. And
That's a really nice way of
like,
saying it.
Yeah. Some of their teachings are like actually really helpful, but some of them mix it with like gaslighting and bullshit so that they can lure you into like
to fit their agenda.
Yeah. Like I now understand why some people like really follow these people. And I can't blame them at all, especially if you like are going through shit because you're their target demographic. Like if you're depressed or whatever, they know that you're their target demographic.
It's easy to target vulnerable people.
Yeah, and that's what's sad about it because they're like, I'll talk about it because in the future, like next month, we'll be covering a cult leader in our future episodes. And I'll share more of the stuff that I've learned, like how they use science and language to like grab your attention and wallet.
Oh my god. We gotta take notes. To be fair, even way before I felt like our calling was to be also a cult leader, I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker. Not necessarily motivational speaker, but I wanted to be a speaker / author, like publish a book and shit.
Yeah.
Can y'all imagine like hearing us talk and then wanting to be these things? Like how chaotic would that be?
No, if I were to start a cult, it would be like the opposite. It would be like the cult of the mentally unstable people. The ADHD cult. I'm not saying that people with ADHD are mentally unstable, but it could be the mentally unstable and people with ADHD. Let's hold hands together and survive through life.
We were actually just describing ourselves, if in case you did not notice.
Yes. That's it. And yeah, it sounds like another version of our like future podcast. Like we're holding hands to get to like the dating scene, but like this time it's just us going through life.
Oh my god. I wonder how many podcasts we're gonna come up with because we just literally talk about whatever.
We didn't want to be a motivational speaker. It turns out we just want to be podcast hosts.
By the way, this is so far off from our topic, I believe. We were just spewing some stuff, okay?
Yeah. For now, let's concentrate on this episode since it's spooky season and spooky month to be exact. We want to add more spook in your spooky season. So let's talk about, I didn't tell Nikki that this is going to be our topic, like as usual, but like It could have helped if I asked her, but I wanted to like surprise her.
No, this time around, because usually Kalai tells me what we're gonna talk about at least a minute before we actually start recording. But this time around, I have like no fucking idea what it is because she won't tell me.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about ghost stories from Singapore. Because we haven't done spooky stories in our main episode in a while. So yeah, let's all have fun.
Yeah.
So sources for this episode, where else would we go to find stories? What? Scary stories. I was about to say stories. Scary stories, but in Reddit. So I found the subreddit for Singapore, and then in No Sleep also.
Oh my God.
I found stories there as well. But I didn't really choose like the really scary ones. There were some that had like really scary ones that I was like, not gonna finish reading this because
Is this what you were doing at 3 a.m.?
No, I was doing this like for the past few days because I didn't really think of Singapore as like the place that has ghosts. I don't know, because it's so like future city. Like I feel like that's how cities are gonna be like in the future, like in Singapore, because everything is so like systematic and shit.
So
like,
you just forgot that there's history here.
yeah. There's like actual people and souls living there.
Jeez.
I'm so sorry. I love Singapore. Obviously, I'm always there, so I'm not talking shit. I'm just anyway, I'm gonna start now. So, this one was submitted by the Angry Camel. I'm gonna read her story. This happened in Malaysia, but it was in a car full of Singaporeans, so I guess it fits. I was probably 11 to 12 years old at that time. Just left our relatives' home at Kampong in Malacca. Malacca?
Malacca. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was about 11 plus p.m. The road out of the place towards the highway is 2 narrow lanes and unlighted. Our car needed a high beam. About 15 minutes into the ride, everyone in the car was asleep except for my dad and I. I saw a lady in a not too white outfit, not exactly a dress, can't recall what it was exactly, walking in the opposite lane but in the same direction as us. Drove past her and I looked back and saw no discernible facial features. And not just because it was too dark. And I made eye contact with my dad through the rearview mirror and he just shook his head and we continued on silently.
Wait, so the dad saw?
Yeah. And look at me, I just said, oh, the story's going to be in Singapore, but like the first story
Is not.
is in Malaysia.
I love it.
But the next stories are going to be in Singapore.
To be fair, Singapore used to be Malaysia, so that should count for something.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like making excuses.
I'm making excuses for you.
And agreeing. So yeah, I told you they're not that scary, but it's just like to hug the spooky season. Like, you know, just be in the seat of spooky season. This one, so a lot of these aren't going to be like, I'm just reading off of them. So just, you know, yeah. So this one is by intentionally a badger.
I wish I could help you, but I've never seen this, so.
Yeah, I kept it from you, that's why. So this dude was doing a navigation exercise. He said, was walking to the last checkpoint in my section. He's, I think, part of the national security or the NS in Singapore. We shot using the compass and was making good ground. And no matter how hard we walk, we cannot get to the checkpoint. Never mind cheating a bit. We walk and we still couldn't get to the road, and we started to get disoriented. The training area is not so big. It's Singapore. It feels like we passed the same tree and rocks again and again. And finally, we made it to the checkpoint. It's supposed to be a 15 to 20 minute walk. It took us an hour. And then he said, did we walk into another dimension? I feel like it's the same thing in the Philippines where there are cases like that. Like, I've mentioned that shit has happened to me before, but yeah.
We should have like commented there, like, did you try flipping your shirt?
Yeah, maybe next I'll leave a comment like, oh, we featured your story on Creepy Conversation.
I love that. No, but then when this happened to them, was this a drill of some sort?
Yeah, they were having a navigation exercise.
Jesus.
I said it at the top of his story.
Sorry, I zoned out. No, he was afraid over a stupid thing. So I learned from, because my close friend here is Singaporean and he experiences NS training annually. They do a simulation. So those practices, even if it was only supposed to take them 15 minutes, it takes them an hour because the truck literally roams around the place a couple of times to simulate as if they were really traveling somewhere far. So it conditions them, like, so you get used to being in the fucking truck for a long time.
No, but he was walking. They were walking as a group, and then they had a compass, and they had like a navigational shit because it was a navigation exercise, and it took them an hour to get to the checkpoint.
Maybe their compass was broken?
Maybe. I read other stories like that as well. Like, it was just short, but people were like, oh, I was like jogging in this area, and then like I couldn't get to, like, I could see the like restaurant or like the bridge, but I couldn't get to it. Like, I just kept, it felt like I was running in the same place. So
I wonder what that phenomenon is.
Yeah. And it's not just happening in Singapore. It happens
Like,
here in
yeah.
the Philippines as well. So maybe it's a something phenomenon. And you jog, so maybe that's going to happen to you.
Please,
Let us
no.
know.
To be fair, I jog on a like recently, since I signed up for a gym, I jog on a treadmill, so that's not likely to happen because I'm literally stationary.
You're literally running in one place. So the next story is submitted by the Cow Unicorn. I love his or her name. I think he's a dude because he's also part of the NS.
Women can join that.
What? Sorry, I haven't seen women.
But you have
All
to
I've
sign
seen
up
are, like,
for
men.
it. Like, men are required to,
Automatically?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but like women can join if they want to.
I'm sorry, women from Singapore. Singaporean women. But yeah, her or his story had an experience doing guard duty at Nee Soon Camp. While prowling at 2:30 a.m., my buddy and I were doing our usual route. How do you guys say it? Route?
I say route.
In Singapore.
They
route.
say route. In Singapore, they say
Oh.
route. I think because that's British English.
Yeah. So I'll just say it as Singapore. My buddy and I were doing our usual route. If memory serves me right, this was already our third and last cycle of the night. First two cycles went by uneventfully as it was done in the late afternoon and earlier part of the night. So for this 2:30 a.m. round, we were feeling exceptionally hot and humid, but shrugged it off as just typical Singapore weather. We went through the medical corps building and through their training field, slowly but surely getting drenched in sweat. Then we turned up to walk towards the live range. For us to reach the live range, we had to go up and down a really long slope. If you drive along SLE, you actually see this stretch of road. Do you know where SLE is?
No, let me Google that. I don't even think
Yeah, let me know after the
I
story.
don't think that's a place. I think that's a expressway. Ah, okay, that is the place. Seletar Expressway.
So y'all from Singapore, that's it. At the top of the slope, it actually hit me that this area is usually pretty breezy as it's beside the highway, and also usually you hear insects doing their mating calls, but at that point the air was quite stale, no breeze, no insects mating as well. Again, I shrugged it off as just the weather being too hot for even insects to want to reproduce.
What? I hate how he fixates on that. Like, can we call it something else? Like insect noise.
Yeah.
The insects did not want to make noise. That's it. Why?
I don't want to think about the insects mating, dude.
Like, sir, are you okay? We can talk about this.
Yeah, so this one's definitely a dude.
I think so too.
We were like he or she, so yeah, you're definitely a dude. We proceeded down the slope to the gates of the range where there is a scan point. I think that's what you call checkpoint, right? Scan
so,
point. Yeah. We clock our check. See, he changed it. He said checkpoint now. The fuck? We clock our checkpoint and turn back to the slope. So far, so good, except the humidity. Also, with it being 2:30 a.m. in the morning and it being our third prowl of the night, my buddy and I weren't really chatting. Usually 2:30 a.m. that's really cold.
It should be.
The breeze is cool.
Even at 11 p.m. Like, as it gets later, it's already...
Yeah. As we hit the bottom of the slope, I felt something tickle the back of my neck. Thinking it was possibly beetle or cockroach, I swiped it off and said, "Oh, fuck off." The moment I said that, I heard a cackling laugh in the treetops over my shoulder. Every hair on my person just stood, and I tried lying to myself that it's a bird. It's a bird. It's a bird. It didn't sound like a bird, but that was the best I could do to convince myself nothing was off. I initially thought I was the only one who was bothered by it until my buddy said that was unsettling. My buddy was the super gung-ho fella, really into commando stuff, and he never hit me as one who believed in supernatural situations, but I could see he was actually really bothered by this laugh. I was still really bothered by this, so I couldn't really reply, and a couple seconds later, he asked if it was okay to start running. Well, let's just say we completed a 2-hour prowl route in 40 minutes. Being dumb cadets, we actually still proceeded to check in at every checkpoint because we didn't want to get into trouble, but we did it at pretty much full sprint point to point. I wonder what that was. Do you think it was like, what do you call the manananggal there? Pontianak, right?
Yeah. But like,
I read in like the subreddits, they call it Auntie Ponti.
Auntie!
Like, auntie.
Oh my god! We should call ours Manang Mani.
Right. But I don't think Manny is a manang. She's a Inday Manny.
It doesn't sound right, though.
Yeah.
No, but I found it funny that his friend had to ask, like, "Hey, do you want to run?"
Yeah.
Because I feel like I would just like, I'm
but
sorry.
Also, I was about to say, also, it's so rude to like just start running and leave your friend. But here you are, just like, I would start sprinting.
I'd be like, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm imagining it wrong. Because like, when he wrote it, it felt like, hey, dude, do you want to run? Because I'm freaked out. Maybe it was something like, let's run. And then just started running.
No, because he said casually, like...
I could never. I don't think I have it in me to keep my cool.
That happened to us. We like just looked at each other and start running out the bath CR, the comfort room, the ladies' room.
We did that multiple times. Like one time in the basement of our school, because like for some reason we were literally just in the locker and nothing, no previous experience or whatever. It just felt eerie. And
it started to feel like, whoa, the aura of this place is dark suddenly.
but nothing was there. Nothing happened. We were just like, we looked at each other and then like
Let's
run.
run.
And then we also had that one time when we were doing a photo shoot and it was like really dark. Remember in Montebello?
Oh, right. Dude.
We were just like,
that felt like someone was watching us.
I know, but the funny thing is we couldn't just randomly run while we were being photographed because that's just like crazy.
Yeah, we were like, is it done?
I felt my like legs shaking the whole time because it wanted to run, but at the same time I was telling my body to stay still. But I could feel
I was like,
an aura
shit.
in my back. Like, I can't.
Exactly.
I just have to run. We actually did.
Where was that photo? I can't remember if we still have it.
We can look for it, but I know it was kind of behind the hotel.
Yeah, it was like behind the something. We'll show it to you guys if we can find it.
Yeah,
it was on my phone, right?
I think
Or was
so.
it
I
on-
think it was.
No,
like,
it was on the camera. We were using an actual camera.
I don't remember anymore. But yeah, we'll look for the photo. It was pretty fucking... It was funny because like right after the shots were taken, we were both like,
You're like
sprinting like...
bye.
Ah, man.
Right. Okay, so the next one is a reply to the story before.
Okay.
Above. Yeah. I think I copy pasted these stories and I remember this was a reply. But yeah, this was posted by I Really Hate Driving 15. He said nothing special, but one of the bunks were apparently haunted. And the only one who's inside was painted for whatever reason. I don't know what that means. I think they mean like as a prank, as like a military hazing thing. Like whoever would sleep in that bunk, they would paint it.
What? That's so weird. They would paint the bunk?
Yeah. No, the person sleeping, the one who's inside the bunk, would get painted for whatever reason. And they thought that it was haunted. But yeah, let me continue. And he said, I think it was level 4, but it's located at the very end. Anyway, me and some NSFS. What does that mean?
It sounds like not safe for work, but like...
New national security freshmen. I feel like.
Let me Google it, and then yeah.
I did not Google this. I just thought that Nikki would know it for some reason.
Why?
I'm like confident.
Oh, it's like
in
full-time
you.
national servicemen. So these are guys who actually work there, and yeah.
So yeah, him and some NSFS who were assigned there find themselves catching a human shadow at the middle of the night staring at them at the window. The fact is, since it's situated at the end, one of the windows of the bunk faces the outside of the building, meaning the shadows there shouldn't be human. Like, because it's on level 4. And there's like a full ass human shadow in the window.
I would fucking
staring
cry.
at them. Me too.
I just...
You can't even leave because they're like national security. They can't like show fear or whatever.
Can you imagine though? What would you do if you were in their place? Like, would you like pretend? I think I'll just start crying, like silent cry.
I think I was like, you know what? I actually don't want to be here. Let me go home. Let me do something else. Like, let me clean toilets in public places instead of like staying in this room.
Oh my god. That's crazy though.
Yeah. This one is in Changi Air Base, sent by Ace4RR0VV. Before construction for the new terminals, the area around my camp was only trees and large vegetation. There was only one long road from the main road outside to our camp. Was doing midnight duty in the guardhouse, so one of my tasks was to throw out the rubbish at the rubbish point nearby but gated. I draw the keys and carried the rubbish to the point. Around the rubbish point was heavily fenced. Even in daytime, you can't see anything beyond the fence. All you could see was tall grass.
As I unlocked the gate, I got a shock when I suddenly heard barking very near me. When I realized it was wild dogs outside the fence, I calmed down and threw the rubbish and began to lock the gate. Suddenly, I hear children. I hear children laughter.
I fucking hate children.
Super clearly beside me beyond the fence. Like I had earphones on and was listening to children's top 10 laughter best mix. It's the exact sound children make when they play catch. The out of breath laughing and giggling. I froze. Nothing should be out there. Definitely not children at 3:30 a.m. I quickly locked the gate and didn't even make it all the way back to the guard room. I ran to the nearest guard post and talked to the guard duty personnel.
I'm having goosebumps. I don't like it. Every time you mention children, the moment there's children in the mix, I am done.
Yeah, it's not like, because you know that kids aren't out at night, except here in the Philippines, because
but not even that
out
late.
past their 3:30 a.m. That's like,
where was this again? Which area?
in Changi Air Base before the construction of the new terminal, so it's probably near where the new terminals are.
Oh, I did hear a lot of stories there. Cause
in China.
yeah,
We covered it in like one of the haunted places,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, we did. I did learn an interesting story. It's not really long, but I had this drunken chat with a friend, and then he said that there was this one time his other friend went to the Changi mental hospital there. I don't know what it's called, but it's a mental hospital there, and it's really fucking creepy because you can't get in. So it's like the gate, and then there's a huge lot before another gate to get into the institution itself. And there's a guard there. And like you don't hear any news about that place. So what they did was they tried to climb up. They got in the lot, but that's just how far you can go. But you can look through the gates, and they were trying to ask the guard, like, hey, can we look through or visit whoever? I don't know. They made up a story because they just wanted to get in. And then the guard was like, no. Yeah. And they realized that one of the guards who was sitting there was reading a newspaper from the 1960s or something, as if it was like the latest. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? Do people still believe that? I mean, like, you know, they're enclosed in there, and
oh shit,
he's not even, now he's like questioning if that was even a guard or like a patient pretending to be, or yeah, that was the creepy part. So he was like, okay, cool, right, you said we couldn't get in, we're not gonna force you guys, we're leaving. But it was a creepy experience to see that, because like I can't even remember the name of the newspaper, but it's the newspaper. They know that it's from the past. It's from the 1960s, because there are a lot of censorships going on in the news and whatever published material there is here. But that newspaper still published a few things that wouldn't pass for newspapers today.
Shit.
I think it's something like LA Times or something, but like the Singapore version of it. And that's only released in the 60s.
Shit.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in that place.
Did they see an apparition or something?
Not really, but like it's a different kind of spooky, I would say. And I think it's a bit scarier because there's no paranormal.
Real, but they don't know. Yeah. Fuck. That's scary. It's either he saw an apparition or it was like a real thing that still believed that it was the 60s.
They were so confused. Like they were like, I'm done here. That was the experience already.
Damn. Okay, this one was by Skynet user. He said, "This happened to me a while back when I went to Batam for work at one of the shipyards. As the job ran
That's in
overtime, it was
Indonesia.
not possible." Damn, why is it here? I
It's
thought it was.
no, it's quite near. I think it's like Bohol
oh.
for us, which is like 45 minutes
Oh.
away through boat. Yeah.
So yeah, it was not possible to take a ferry back home to Singapore. So my manager and myself went to book a room at one of the 4 over 5 stars hotel in Batam to stay for the night. It was like a suite, even though we booked for a room for 2 adults. It came complete with 2 rooms, living room, and a small kitchen. It was on a high floor with a very nice scenery overlooking the tennis courts and the forest in the distance. We took our respective rooms and turned in for the night. As I was falling asleep on my side, I felt the bed behind me depressed downwards, as though someone was standing on the bed behind me. I think he was sleeping on his side. That's why he felt something like the bed depressed. I was scared out of my wits, did not say anything, and reasoned with myself that I was too tired and that it was just my imagination. It did not end there, though. I felt the depression near my back ease up and end up on the other side of the bed, and after that, on another part of the bed. It was like someone was jumping around the bed. I was freaked out of my mind, but didn't dare to open my eyes because I was not prepared to see. I prayed very hard, kept my eyes shut. I fell asleep because I was too tired. The next morning, I asked my manager how his sleep was. He said it was good, and I left it at that. It was the scariest encounter I've ever had before. This is like, to me, I don't want to imagine this. That you feel
It's very different. Like, you
the
can tell.
feeling of your bed. Yeah, it does. Because you move a
Yeah.
bit and, like, you sink a bit.
I don't think I'll ever. I get imaginations like this before, but I've never really experienced. I don't want to experience that. And I do
Yeah.
understand how he's describing these things, because you can tell if like someone sleeps beside you or
Lies
like
down.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would never move. I don't think I'll survive the night. Even if I wanted to
Me too.
piss, like I'd just be like, what? I don't feel anything. Whatever.
Yeah, same. I would freeze because, just pretend that I'm not here. They might not, touch me or whatever. I just don't. Let's not
Yeah.
pretend. Yeah.
You know what?
That would be my thing.
You know what I realized? We're fucking opossums. You know how
Why? Do they do that? Yeah, they just freeze.
they freeze when they're scared. No, when they're threatened, they freeze because that's how they pretend they're dead, and then they feel like predators
sleep.
won't do anything to them because they're already dead. And I feel like that's what we're doing. Like, just don't move, and they won't find you. Oh my god, we're animals.
They won't realize that you're there. Shit.
I didn't even realize we did that.
I feel like that's like the go-to thing because if you move, what if you accidentally touch it and like it whatever's you? So
Okay, now I'm imagining a
thanks.
funny thing. You know how those memes wherein there are monsters under your bed and then your hands are like that and then they the stupid romance shit.
yeah, shit. And you end up falling in love with a ghost.
Oh my god.
Shit.
It's like
It's now a rom-com.
accidentally touch and then the ghost blushes like I'm trying not to scare myself here, honestly.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Nick. Okay, so this one was posted by Yug or UG. So it's spelled as YOUG. So firstly, I have to explain my house layout. Unlike BTO nowadays. I'm sorry, what's BTO? Is it like a kind of
Built
house?
to order, I think. Yeah. It's a kind of house.
Okay. So unlike BTO nowadays, my parents' HDB flat. I also don't know what HDB is. What does that mean?
It's a type of housing. It's the public housings here. So I live in an HDB flat. I don't know what it stands for, but it's the government-owned apartments.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my parents'
HDB.
HDB flat HDB flat were built in such a way that the living room window faces the corridor. You might think there's no privacy, but actually there is, because the whole room was also elevated. So no one tall enough could look in. This means that right in front of the main door, you need to walk up to a 2-step stairs in order to enter the house. This kind of looks like my auntie's house. The way she's describing it.
Oh my god, what if it's really there and then it's pretending to be Singapore? I'm just kidding.
No, because it's like using HDB shit. Yeah, you could still hear the sound of footsteps though, and I remember I was always excited to hear my parents coming back when I was young. One day I was doing my homework in the living room when I felt someone looking at me. I turned over and there it is, a full face peeking through the window.
What the fuck?
It looked like a frail elderly grandma. I froze, and the next second it's gone. I tried to rationalize it, but until now I couldn't. I'm 1.8 meters tall now, and I can't even look through the living room window outside in. There were no footsteps. It just appeared and disappeared. It didn't cause me any harm, but I was spooked out for quite a while. A frail elderly grandma.
I don't
like.
That's the second thing I don't like. It's either children or grandparents. Like old people. You can't, like, no. Why are y'all creepy, man?
Yeah. Okay, this one, it's far from you, so it's not that scary, I guess.
You don't even know where I live.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like this is far from, but this is a camp, so I don't think you live near a
No,
camp
I don't.
site. Yeah. So this one was posted by Sanny, SANNY, Side Up
Sounds like
1991. Yeah. 1991 gang. But yeah. He or she posted, happened during NS at Katib Camp. Have you been there?
No, I have not. But that's
Okay.
near Woodlands, I would say.
Okay. So yeah, one Sunday I decided to book in early to have dinner, cup noodles because I was running low on funds, and take a nap before our roll call at 10:30, or he put it as 22:30 hours. So that's 10:30, right?
Yeah. That's how they say their time here. Like it's
Really?
very
My dad does that
fucking
too.
normal for them. Like that's how they don't even use AM or PM. So if you put like 1:30,
Yeah.
like 1:30, they're gonna find it weird if you meant afternoon.
My dad does that too, because it's like, what do you call it? Like a seafarer thing. So he's like used to.
I think because every guy here goes through military training,
Military.
so
oh
it's
yeah, so
then
that's why it's normal.
for everyone to use that. It was weird for me at first, but now I'm like used to it.
So I reached camp at 7:30 in the evening, and when I reached my company's level, I realized that I was the only one there. No surprise there, as we just had outfield, which ended on the previous book out day, so everyone wanted to stay away from camp for as long as possible before booking in. Anyway, I prepared my cup noodles and started eating at the communal desk in my bunk. While I was eating, I noticed from the corner of my eye there was a lady walking past my bunk. Dressed in yellowish white dress of some sort, she casually walked past. The weird thing was the way she walked made it seem like she was gliding or floating. I stopped eating and started to wonder if it was one of my regular specs. As I started to think, I realized that it can't be any of them. Both of my female regulars in my company had short hair, and the lady who walked past had hair that reached down to her waist. At that point, I realized that I might have seen something that wasn't human. I heard a voice. It came from right behind me. She wrote something in, I think, Singaporean, but she translated it, and the voice said, "Figured out who I am." I immediately abandoned my cup noodles and ran down all the way to the first floor smoking corner. Thankfully, I bumped into the COS who was on duty for the day, told him what had happened, and he asked me to hang out with him in the office while waiting for the rest of my bunk or company to book in before I went back upstairs. That was the last time I booked in early. For the rest of my time at the unit, I always made sure that at least one of my bunkmates had booked in first before I went into the camp.
Oh my god.
I feel like if you join the NS, it's like
they usually have a lot of these stories, and I don't know why they're being haunted or if they're fucking tired that their brain is just like, I'm seeing these things.
Yeah, it could be.
Also, if I were him, I would have brought my cup noodles with me. Like,
yeah.
Why the fuck would you? It's just a cup noodle.
Maybe the lady scared her or him to get the cup noodle.
I would have been holding. When I eat cup noodles, I would be holding it. Even if I have a table, I would be holding it. Priorities, man. Your food. You're scared and you're hungry. You take it with you. You run and you take it with you.
You take your food with you. Okay, this one is written by Article 13. Whoever came to Tekong Cougar October 2017 will also know about it. The whole company more or less knows. One of the guys at Platoon 2 got possessed. There were people screaming and shouting. Some were calling for help. Others ran out to find sergeants. I didn't get to enter the bunk where the possessed guy were at, but all the bunkmates said the guy felt unnatural. Speech was all jumbled up. Fast ventilation. And sergeants came and told everyone to go back to their respective bunks. The guy apparently keeps saying he was 100% possessed, not sudden spastic or other reasons. He confirmed his possession. He was sent out, not sure to the med bay or back to the mainland, but with a sergeant. It doesn't feel terrifying now, but when you were there living, hearing and watching the entire situation go down, it hits different. And like when I was reading this, there were replies under it that were saying that, oh yeah, I know that story, like about the possessions. And there was like another story about like another batch of like people that got possessed in that area. Like there was one time that there were 2 people that got possessed. So apparently that place is like known to be an area that has spirits. Is it near where you live in Tekong?
I don't know where that is. I don't think so. So, because a lot of the camps are in the coastal part. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's like the edge of the country, so it's really far out.
Oh, okay.
But I think they should sage the place. Like, come on. A lot of bad omens here and there. Time to, like, shoo them out.
Yeah. This would be the last short story. I'll move on to the longer stories after this. So this one was submitted by Meow Taco Duck.
Meow Taco
when I was
Duck.
12. Meow Taco Duck. Yeah. Whoa, I just realized that. Meow, taco, and duck. Shit. When I was 12, I was young. I was a young and dumb kid. Well, look at me, 30 years old, still dumb. Good for you.
12.
You moved on from being dumb.
When I was 12, I was young. Wow.
But yeah, that's what she said. I was a young and dumb kid. We went to Bukit Timah Hill for a school excursion.
That's where the rich...
We had plans to go to this place, right?
Yeah, that's where the rich people live, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. At the foot of the hill in the side of the road, I found a huge hiking stick. As soon as I grabbed it, red giants poured out.
Ew.
But still young me thought it was a great idea to use it while hiking. Young me also thought it was an awesome idea to bring the stick home. never bring stuff that you find in the forest home, because you never know who owns it.
Exactly. Also,
You have to ask permission.
yes, that's also one of the reasons why Asians wash their feet, or like we don't bring in our shoes to inside the house, is because when you walk around, your shoes, the imprints on it, shit gets stuck in there, and you bring in energy.
Your home.
Yeah. So that's why you leave it out.
Yeah. Even in our home, we have like an outside slipper and an inside slipper.
Same.
Where we just like use it within the compound. Yep. Like it's the way that it is here. But yeah, where was I? So yeah, as soon as I got home, I fell sick. Had high fever, joint pain, stomach cramps, and I could not keep my posture straight. I was walking around like a bongkok lady at 12 years old. I took a form of a nenek kebayan, or a witch. Think Hunchback of Notre Dame. After the second day, my mom became really concerned. Was it dengue fever, the flu, something else? They asked me if I did anything weird while on my excursion. This is so Asian, by the way. Like,
it is.
Every time you go on a field trip and you get sick, your parents will always ask you if you did something while you were on the field trip. So yeah. And when they ask you, they don't mean like if you ate something wrong, like they mean the supernatural thing.
For sure.
Did you disrespect some leaves? That's what
I mean, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And when I told them I took the stick home, they were horrified. My late granddad had to perform some bombo smoking. Bombo is like a witch or like a shaman in Malaysia and there in Singapore. Burning, prayer ritual, and it was quite possible that the stick was returned. Almost instantly after that, I was cured of whatever that was bothering me. Since that day, I have learned my lesson, and I will no longer mess around with the forest.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's like basic courtesy. Whether or not you believe in this, like respect your surroundings, respect your environment.
Yeah. And here in Asia, I feel like in every part of Asia, whether you're from East Asia or South Asia or Central Asia. Middle Asia.
Okay.
We're very particular about respecting nature. That's just like really part of our belief. Yeah. I feel like in like Celtic,
I think so too.
Belief too. That's like
I feel like any country that has had history of tribes or any form of civilization has had that kind of practice.
Yeah. It's always respect respect nature, respect the nature. Okay, so this one is quite long, so I think we might reach more than an hour. But yeah, I want to read this story. It's no sleep, so we don't know if this is a true story or not, but basically you'll know how no sleep works. It's to scare you.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, this is paranormal, so we don't know.
Yeah. Whether it's real or not, we love spooky shit. So yeah, let's keep the spirit of urban legends. Let's keep it going. Let's not like, oh, that's not real, or
it's like, shut up, Karen.
It's a story. Yeah, it's a story. Let's accept it as that way. Anyway, so this one was posted by 15 hours creepy on No Sleep Reddit. The Last Bus is the title. Here in Singapore, we have a healthy belief of the supernatural. Although not very well known, Singapore has got several rather indigenous methods to keep the supernatural spirits at bay without offending them. For example, in some of the old apartment buildings, we call them the HDB flats here. It's rumored that during the construction of these buildings, workers would roll marbles into the small hollow spaces in between each level of the apartments. Nikki covered this in one of our previous episodes. If you want to learn more about that, she explains it
like this
very well. Yeah.
The scientific reasons and all that shit. But anyway.
Yeah. It's hoped that these marbles would occupy any wandering spirits and serve as their toys and to discourage them from bothering the human residents living in the apartments. Also, ever seen our local $1 coin? If so, you might have been intrigued by the interesting shape that these coins take. These coins are shaped into octagon. What can I say shit? Shaped into octagon. I can't say it.
Let me say it for you.
Why do I choke every time? Literally, my tongue stops moving. Octagons. And were specifically designed to resemble the Chinese bagua, a shape which, according to feng shui masters, would help ward away bad luck and protect one from evil spirits. I'm actually thinking of buying one because, I don't know, I just want to protect myself.
A bagua?
In case. Yeah.
Oh.
I just want to...
I mean, that's quite common in Philippines too. I mean, in
Yeah.
Chinese families.
Yeah, that's why I want to... Yeah, that's why I want to buy.
But to be fair,
I don't know. I just want to protect myself.
our old coins also were shaped that way. Remember the
Yeah,
2
that's
peso
true.
coins, I think? The one with the carabaos?
Yeah, the bigger ones. Yeah. They were so cool. I don't know what the fuck happened to our coins.
They just died.
Anyway, but our coins now, the newer ones are pretty. But anyway, my story revolves another one of Singapore's obscure ways of placating spirits. Am I saying that right? My brain's lack of sleep is now like, you're saying it wrong. Yeah, placating. Although not officially proven, many Singaporeans, especially those who work late shifts, have claimed to have rather odd experiences when riding on the last bus back home. More specifically, these experiences revolved around the last buses making stops at every single bus stop, even when there's no one waiting at the stop. And when no one had indicated their intention to get off at the bus. What am
I hate you.
Even when no one indicated their intention of getting off at the bus. I just skipped a whole ass word.
I hate how it's being worded. Get off at the bus. Okay.
To move on from the bus. Let's just put it that way. None of the transport companies would publicly admit to such a method, but we all knew that these last buses, besides serving as transport for the living, also served as transport for wandering. I know it happened before, so my brain was like, don't say it as wandering.
But then it's like,
And then it fucking happened. This is becoming a train wreck.
the bus.
A wandering. Yep, that's the bus right there. For wandering souls that needed help getting to their destination. As such, in order to reduce the risk of these souls from approaching and harassing people in the streets, the buses would pick them up instead and drop them at their desired spots. That's like a really nice thing that these bus drivers do. Like, it's like a really nice urban legend.
It's like the night bus from Harry Potter. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But it is true.
Yeah.
They do stop. I found it weird that they still stop at every single bus stop, sorry. Even if there's no one there. And even if like no one wants to get off
the
Yeah.
bus. Oh. So since you've had a ride, I don't know how to say it. Since you've been on that last ride, you've probably had
I probably sat beside,
wandering souls. Yeah, beside
but then
you.
I'd be too fucking drunk because usually when this happens, like
That's like
that's because
drunk hour.
I went out drinking, so I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't be sober
Yeah.
enough to understand. Like, oh, I'm with spirits.
Oh, you're not alive. So yeah, I've only had the chance of riding on the last bus once. What is happening to me? Once. Do you want to take over? Let me send you this because I can't. Anyway, I work as a logistics manager for a rather well-known shipping company. I typically work the day shift and never had the need to drive a car since both my living and work locations were near the train stations. However, last week, due to a glitch in the system, one of our clients had received an incorrect quantity of orders, and I had to personally go down to their work site in order to apologize to the managers, as well as to arrange for alternative arrangements for the rest of the order to arrive. Annoyingly, this particular work site was located way off the main roads, and no taxi driver would be willing to drive down the rocky and uneven side road. The only way in and out was by bus. By the time the meeting was over, it was past midnight, and with my phone out of battery, it seemed like I was up for a long walk down a dark, quiet road. By a 28-year-old female, it was a task I certainly did not relish. It was just as I was about to begin the long walk, a pair of headlights beamed down the street from behind. A turn behind revealed the source of the lights to be that of a bus as it rumbled down the road towards the bus stop just ahead of me. Grinning in relief, I waved my arms like a maniac and jogged down to the bus stop. I gratefully got on the bus as its doors opened. "Uncle," I greeted the elderly driver respectfully as I tapped my card. He smiled warmly at me as I settled down onto the front seat. The bus, as expected at this time of the night, was empty, and I thought it would be rude to sit at my usual seat in the back. Is it usually empty, like at the last bus ride?
Sometimes they don't really have passengers anymore, and they're just like driving because they have to.
Oh. Late night Xiao Mei, he asked as the bus lumbered off. What does Xiao Mei mean? Is it
Little
like
girl
young lady?
or something like that, yeah.
Oh. Okay. As we conversed, I began to notice that the bus, for some odd reason, was stopping at each bus stop. My mind flashed back to all the stories about spirits at the bus stop and shivered involuntarily as I stared at the empty doorway in front of me as we pulled up at yet another empty bus stop. The driver glanced over me and chuckled. "Sorry, last bus, so we have special passengers to pick up. Just stay in your seat." Don't worry. I would be like,
I did not need to know
I would
that.
be like, huh?
Can we... There are...
Where would you, if you were in this, would you rather sit in front where you would most likely sit beside special passengers, or would you stay seated at the back?
I think I'd be in front. I would prefer being near the driver. Like, I would feel a little bit safer even if he would tell me, like, someone is sitting beside.
Or behind you. For some reason, someone sitting behind me is, like, scarier than someone sitting behind me.
Beside you.
No, like, for me, it's scarier to think about someone sitting behind me.
Yeah.
Rather than someone sitting beside me.
Yeah, that's why you said the
What
first
is wrong
time.
with
You
me?
said behind you twice. So I'm like, ooh, so which one is it?
Yeah, beside me. I feel like, I can just run at any time.
Yeah,
Like,
because you
unlike
can't see
the back. Like, yeah, you can't. What if it touches your hair or whatever? Like, no, thank you.
Oh boy, no. But I hate
Anyway,
the fact that the driver, like the uncle, said that. Like,
Yeah. He was like,
I did not need
let
to
me see
know
your
this."
reaction.
Jesus.
Yeah. I nodded I dare you to ask the driver why they stop at every bus stop next
Oh
time.
my god. I might, because like, you know how I told you I don't have work for the rest of the week? I'm planning a hiking trip to one of the scary hiking trails here with Mel.
Mm.
And then, I don't know, we'll probably stay up late until the next bus. I mean, last bus.
Yes. And then ask the uncle or the driver. So yeah. I nodded understandingly and pulled my jacket tightly around my body. Although I was sure that the temperature in the bus had not dropped, it seemed noticeably colder as the bus went on. As the bus neared a stop that would signal the start of the busier main road, the driver suddenly swore and hit his fist onto the steering wheel. I jumped in shock and glanced around anxiously, realizing that the driver was staring out of the window and towards the upcoming bus stop. Like the other bus stops, it was empty, but unlike the others, the lights on this bus stop were dimmer and flickering. It had an eerie atmosphere.
No! I don't want us to continue this.
I'm sorry, Nick. I started it.
Thank God for daytime.
Yeah, shaking his head and muttering to himself, he slowed the bus down and hissed at me. Close eyes, don't look. Now, thoroughly alarmed, I opened my mouth to speak. As the bus rolled to a stop, the driver turned to me and hissed again, more urgently this time. Don't look, don't move, don't say anything. Quick. What would you do if you were in this? I would be like...
I would like to believe that I would do the same thing, but I feel like my brain would be fucking stupid and just freeze.
And run outside.
No, just freeze and not understand what he wanted me to do. And
I would pretend to sleep. I would be like, okay.
Actually, knowing me, I probably would not.
You'd be asleep. I don't know if I've talked about this, but Nikki, as soon as she sits down, or not even sitting down, as soon as the vehicle starts moving, she's like
dead. Like,
I can't snap my fingers. Asleep.
Even while standing up. So I think we've tried that. Like in the train.
No, that's why I said not even sitting down. She can sleep. Sensing his urgency, I slammed my lid shut. I shoved my trembling fists into the pockets of my jacket, and as I tried my best to stop shivering in fear, I feel like this would be the same thing. I wouldn't want my arms to be out there.
So it's like
my hands.
If you don't have like pockets or what, just cross your arms.
I could hear the bus door squeak open. It was absolutely silent in the bus, and I could hear my heart pounding loudly, then footsteps. Heavy, slow footsteps as someone or something climbed up the steps into the bus. A slow rumbling noise could be heard in tandem with occasional snorts and huffs. This isn't even like a human ghost. I feel like this is another type of...
I feel like they're a gang or
creature.
Something. I'm crying because I can imagine the whole thing, like putting myself in her shoes. I would die.
I'm sorry, Nick. It sounded as if a cow was entering the bus, although that was, of course, not possible. Like I said, the bus stop had been empty, and I know for a fact that pets aren't allowed in your buses, right? Yeah. I could sense a strange pressure exerted all around me as the footsteps stopped beside my seat. The air was thick and stale, and I struggled to breathe. Sweat dripped down my head as I strained to keep my eyelids shut. It took me everything I could to stop myself from jumping out of the bus and running away into the night. The snorts and huffs became louder as I sensed the entity bend over me. I could feel its breath ruffle the hairs at the top of my head. My bladder threatened to give away. This makes me laugh. Because I understand the feeling.
Right, like I would pee myself too. So no judging there.
Yeah. And this is what we do. We laugh if we relate to shit. Suddenly, I heard the bus driver shout, "Kuiho Menzu," meaning "go sit behind." He yelled in Mandarin. I'm just gonna read everything in English. "Leave her alone."
You go, uncle.
Bus driver yelled. Yeah. The entity growled, and I could feel my seat shake in unison. "Go," the driver roared again, louder than the last time. I could hear him stomping his feet loudly and his hands banging loudly on the steering wheel. It seemed as if he was trying to scare the entity back to the back of the bus. I silently prayed for his efforts to work. Finally, with yet another low rumble and snort, the footsteps finally started up again and slowly subsided as the entity stomped off towards the back of the bus. I kept my eyes screwed shut as I heard the driver swear under his breath again. The door squeaked shut and the bus jolted as it resumed its course. After a couple of minutes, the driver addressed me once more. "You can open your eyes again, Xiao Mei." I hesitantly opened my eyes. The driver glanced over to me and smiled warmly. Scary, I know. He don't usually ride bus, but don't worry, Agong will protect you. So sweet. But also, I would not open my eyes.
Yes, it's like how. Also, I feel like I would be that bitch who would be tempted to take a peek. Like, I would be so fucking scared, but also curious. And I'm afraid if that shit happened to me, my curiosity would win.
Yeah, I would be like, is he fucking with me? I'd be like, ugh.
But also scared.
Yeah.
But like,
At the same, I understand.
can you imagine though? What if like the whole time the bus driver was actually experiencing his episodes? Like maybe he's not like mentally well, and he was having episodes, and then you wouldn't know because your eyes are fucking closed, and he was making all of this whole scenario right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's even fucking scarier.
Fucking scary. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
But for the spirit of spookiness, let's say this is a paranormal activity.
Yeah. What type of creature would this be? It sounds like a thick balang or like something.
It does, but I don't know if they have something like that here. And what kind of spirits they have. So
try to look up in the future. But yeah, where was I?
Agong will protect you.
I wasn't feeling entirely reassured, but I forced myself to nod. I took comfort from the composure that the driver was exuding, as well as his apparent experience in ferrying the supernatural around. That's like a really cool job though. But also I would be curious to like look behind me.
Maybe the thing got off already. That's why the driver was like, it's fine too.
Maybe.
But like as a driver, why would the spirits not want to hurt him?
Because he's the only way that they can go around.
Fucking idiot. I mean, like, take a cab, you loser. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe it's like meant like, I don't know, what if, this is a theory. What if the government had deal with the supernatural?
I love that.
A la 13, that, you know, they had like an agreement. Don't touch our peeps and we'll give you the night bus so you can go around.
Love that. This calls for a story.
Yeah. Dude, any writers out there? No, don't write it. We're gonna do it.
Just sit back.
Yeah.
Give us a decade.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just finish the story. As by the way, the story is still longer. There's a second part with like a different story. But I'll just finish it to the part where the bus ends. Yeah. As the bus drove into the bus station, he turned to me again and gestured for me to once again close my eyes. I immediately complied, and after a couple of minutes of nerve-wracking snorting and uncomfortable pressure, did the entity exit the bus. I finally felt at ease and could hear the driver wheeze in relief and broke into a light chuckle. Good, he gone. Now you can go. He gestured towards the open door. As I exited the bus, I paused at the doorway. Uncle, for some reason, this bus ride had drawn me emotionally towards the driver. He exuded a warm, paternal-like feeling and had been friendlier to me than any other bus driver I had ever met. It's okay, Xiao Mei. Late already. Go home, rest. He smiled warmly at me. I nodded and stepped off the bus. The door closed behind me and the bus drove off, disappearing into the bus docking bay. And that's it for the first part. There is a longer part with like another story, but it doesn't involve the bus anymore. So we'll cover that for a shorty or what? Let us know.
Y'all will have to stick around
you
for
guys
the
think?
next upcoming episodes if you want to know how this
'cause
ends.
It's gonna be spooky.
Jeez.
Spooky season.
But like I'm just thinking they got off the same stop. Like fuck, stop me elsewhere, bitch. I don't want to get that. You just
Take me. Take me somewhere else.
exactly. Or it could have been.
Take me to the police station.
Would you rather have that entity get out first, or you get out first?
I would rather have the entity get out first so that he can't follow me. Like, if I go out first and he follows me, what if he gets the idea to be like, how about I follow her since, she's right in front of me?
But what if he's just waiting?
Rather than...
Like, if he gets out and then he's just waiting there and you don't have an idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm also thinking, like, if I
mean-
get out first, I can just, like, sprint and run. Like, ask the driver to be like, if you can't see me anymore, that's when you let him out or something. I don't know.
I think that's why the bus driver was like, it's okay, you can get out now, because he was making sure that the entity was gone.
Could be. But that would still not make me feel safe at all. Because, like, I can't
Yeah, I'd
see
be like,
shit.
oh. Yeah, I'd be like, well, you introduced me to this shit now, so...
Like, damn it. We're here now.
I'd be like, uncle, can I just sleep here?
Can you drive me straight to my place? Thank you.
Can you get off the bus and
Like, take...
bring me to the gate of my house?
That's so insane. And then, plot twist, it was the uncle who was actually the entity. Because you know how we...
Yeah.
Ugh, that's even... I just literally scared myself right there. Just
You
like...
scared yourself.
My hair stood when I imagined it. The fuck? Ugh.
Yeah, but I really like this story because it's like the first time that I heard about like the mythical side of Singapore, because it really is like the future city to me.
Not a lot of people believe.
Like, I
these things,
forgot.
yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, if you guys have any stories, if you're from Singapore or if you're Singaporean living somewhere else and you have stories, please send it to us. We do have an email if you prefer emails, creepyconvos@gmail.com. And then also on our website, you can submit a story, creepyconversations.com. We'll also be linking the stories in the website. So yeah.
Oh, and
The sources, I mean.
if you guys want to see our expressions and how scared and also like our laughing faces, you can subscribe to us on patreon.com/creepyconvos. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcast to. My housemates are getting pretty loud with their movie. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
No, not at all. Are there snorting sounds?
If there is, I can't hear it. So that's, I don't know if that should comfort me or not. But thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, something else could be watching you.
God.
Spooky season.
Bye.
Bye.